Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be answering some of the assumptions you have about me and my marriage. I did a poll on Instagram and I'm excited to get into it. So the first assumption that people were talking about is that Steve and I do not fight. We don't quarrel, we don't fight. Well, Steve and I have never fought like having heated arguments, no, but we do disagree. We're coming to 5 years in marriage now and we've never had like a huge fight. I think we handle conflict pretty well. Steve is very laid back, he never loses it, you know, and sometimes we're having discussions, we're having conversations, and I see that he's not understanding my point of view, okay? And I'm also not understanding his, and I see that one of us is about to lose it. Of course, that being me. Steve never loses it. And then I say, you know what, we shall talk about this another time when we have all like calmed down. And yeah, and the thing just ends there. We talk about it another time. So we get into a lot of conversation, and he's very laid back. So he listens a lot. That is really helpful. Having an empathetic listener really makes everything just kawa. I'll just give you an example of one of our arguments. So, okay, a discussion that we just can't agree on. We have 2 kids now, and I feel like we should be done. It's a girl and a boy. What else do you want in life, you know? But Steve wants 6 children. Yes, first pray for me. And then I keep saying, like, what exactly are you looking for? It's like, no, children are a gift from God. What? Don't you want to see them running up and down? I'm like, I'm the one who goes through labor, carrying the kid, puking 9 months, all this stress, you know, postpartum, and it's too much. And Rain really did it to me. Like, she was a crybaby. She's emotional. So I just feel like I need a break, a forever break. Right now, I need a break. And he still says, no, let's give it some time. Let's give it some time. And I'm like, why aren't you understanding me? But then recently, I'm reading a book called Happily Ever After. And it's such a great book, and I just felt God speaking to me. So when you're talking about conflict management, they're saying you need to show love, you know, and they gave an example of a couple. So this guy goes to see this couple, and the lady was pregnant, and they're saying it's a testimony, our pregnancy is a testimony because we once lost a child, and as the lady, she felt like she needed to kind of replace this child. She needed like to get this child again. So she wanted to get pregnant. But the guy, you know, went through so much, and he felt like, I don't want to have kids again. So they were both very strong on their belief, like this one didn't want a child and the other one wanted. And then God reminded her of Abraham, and reminded her that Abraham was going to sacrifice his only child because of the love he had for Christ, for Jesus, for God. And it hit her. If you love this guy so much, you know, you want to do what's best for them, okay? So she's like, you know what, I want a child, but my husband doesn't. I will give it up because I love him so much. So when she told him that, he broke down and wept. Like, he's like, I can't believe you're doing this for me. And because I also love you, I wouldn't want you to miss that. So he said, you know what, let's have a child. So when I read that story, I was like, God, what do you want from me? Like, leave me, you know? But that's what it's about, giving yourself up for the other person. And that's how we kind of try to manage our conflict. But also our temperaments are very in sync. He's very like a listener. He's laid back. He will listen. He didn't really get angry so much. He never loses his temper. Like, I've not seen Steve lose his temper. The only time I see him angry is when someone cheats him, like money. Like, he didn't like being cheated. So that's the only time I've seen him a bit angry. But generally, he's such a cool, peaceful person, and that really helps. And also, because I'm a talker, sometimes when you're a talker, you can say things that you don't mean, or say things without thinking through. So I've really tried to learn to hold my tongue, and I keep saying, guard the door of my tongue, Lord, of my mouth, because you can say things that you can't take back. So yeah, in general, we actually disagree, but we do not fight. Yeah, that's the first assumption. The second assumption, let me read it. Someone says, you do not mention the bad things to make it more realistic for others. And when I read this, I was like, like this, the world has told people that there are bad things, everything is, things are terrible, and there's already so much of the negative out there. There's no need for me to come on here and begin telling you again negative things. But for me in my marriage, I've not had those bad, like really bad things for me to actually tell you. But our disagreements where we do not agree, I mentioned here, they are small things. But in general, marriage is actually beautiful if you put in the work and you commit to it. So the myths that have been shared on social media and all this portraying marriage to be this very complicated thing, the very bad thing, I think it's a lie. And I like to tell people, who are you listening to? Who are you listening to? Listen to the ones whose marriages are working, the ones who have the positivity, who are bringing hope to marriage. So don't only listen to the bad things. People are saying men are scam, all husbands cheat, all, that whole, it didn't work. So when I read this, I was a bit heartbroken because people are always expecting the negative. But in real life, yeah, Steve and I have few disagreements and here and there, but we are generally happy. Marriage is working out for us. Keep listening to the good stuff, and hope actually is really there. So that's the second assumption I wanted to answer. Light bulb moment with Lisa. Did you know that the more pictures you take during an event or in a moment, the less likely you'll remember it? Stop taking pictures. Live in the moment. Yes. Then the third assumption. Someone here saying, you guys have money. Wow, thank you. Amen. But yeah, people like to say people have money because of what they see. You see someone on social media, they're going to a hotel, they're going out, eating out, and all these things. And sometimes it's not the truth, But for us in our marriage, we plan for things. If it's an annual vacation, an annual getaway, we plan for it. So we have money in terms of the kids are provided for, we have shelter, we have clothing, we are content. The Lord has been good and provided for us, so we are not lacking. But I really want to tell, especially young couples, to plan for the future, invest, know your net worth. Because in the beginning, when we just gotten married in our first year, we were just bowling, enjoying life, eating and chopping all that money. We didn't have like a proper financial plan and goal. And then after our first year, we're looking at each other like, but what have we, put together? What do we have? What do we own? And there was not much. And we realized, no, we needed to do better. That's how we came up with our vision, and we had financial goals. Every year we have a target. We have to plan for trips and all these things because they actually help the marriage to, to thrive. And the word of God says, leave an inheritance. A good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. So we need to set our children's children up for success. Okay, so invest, plan, save, give. That's all part of our financial management. So yeah, we have money, we are planning, and we're believing even for more. Yeah, don't settle for less. And so that's a third assumption. So the next assumption, someone says, you are too serious. Well, yes and no. Let me explain. I actually have a very serious side. Because I'm choleric, I'm very serious. I'm like, sometimes my husband is like, please just relax, when it comes to time, I'm very structured. If someone says the meeting should start at 5, I want to be there by 4:50. You get those things, I'm very strict. And then my husband on the other hand is very, sometimes I'm like, please be stricter, and things like that. But I'm so serious. I like to do things as planned. If I've planned something, I want it to go as planned. I don't want anything to distract me. So it's a good and bad thing as well. But then on the other side, I'm such a fun person. I'm very lively, I'm fun, and hey, that's what makes marriage fun. If you're too serious, like your partner is always walking on eggshells, if I say this, she'll cry. If I tell her this, she'll get pissed. You guys need to stop that stuff. So when it comes to like real business, like we need to be on time. I'm putting my husband on pressure all the time. He's like, you know, like we're doing this shoot today, and the videographer, shout out to Rinaldi behind the camera, he was like, he's coming by 8:30. Oh my God, you guys, I woke up at 6. My whole family right now, they left and they're on pressure, like headache, because we are late. I think that's the most common word that my children know that I use. We are always late, and for no reason. Like I'm just always on, as if anxious that I'm not going to make time, and that's because I plan too much. So yeah, I am serious, but when it comes to marriage, I'm fun, I'm chilled, I make life, like, you know, so much better. So yeah, that's the next assumption. So the next assumption, someone here says, you are a bougie mom, you don't cane or yell at the kids. Let me respond. Hold on, give me a minute. Ta-da! So, I'm not a bougie mom in that regard. I do cane, and we have different sticks depending on age. My 1-year-old, yeah, she gets some. So I really believe in discipline, and the Bible tells us, spare the rod, spoil the child, you know, beat them with the rod, they will not die, deliver them from hell. Folly is bound out. Guys, the verses are many, you know. So we have different sizes for different ages, but I do not just beat just like that. Discipline, it's important that you first teach them what needs to be done, like instruct them, teach them, and then discipline them. Don't just beat them you know. I think many parents abuse the rod in trying to discipline the children. So don't beat them out of anger, that you're angry and then you hit them. No, we only discipline so that folly can be removed out of them. Okay? So yeah, I discipline, I make sure that, you know, the relationship is not broken, because before I beat, I tell King, you've been disobedient, you've not listened to mama, so I'm going to give you 2 on the bum. Okay? And there are different numbers depending on what someone does. If it's rebellion, you add, but you shouldn't go more than 5. Okay? So after I've given him, of course he's crying, I embrace him and tell him I love you, but I don't want you to be disobedient. So don't just send them off away and they cry and be like, hey, yeah. No, embrace them and tell them what is happening, so they know that discipline is not because you hate them, because the word of God says you discipline those that you love, sons that you love. So yeah, I discipline depending on age, as you can see the sticks here. Yeah, that's the next assumption that I wanted to answer. So the other assumption, someone here says, you are a perfect wife and a mom, perfect mom. I want to be like you when I grow up. Oh, you guys, I'm not perfect. I'm not a perfect mom. I'm not a perfect wife. I am a work in progress. You guys, it takes work. There's a day I wanted to shower King, the children, and King was asking me so many questions. You guys, you know how 4-year-olds ask like a billion questions in a minute. Mommy, what is this? Mommy, what about this? And I was, first of all, remember me, I'm time. They have a certain time that they should shower and go to bed. So I'm always it's already 8, you need to shower, we need to sleep. And he's asking me all these questions. I'm like, King, get into the shower. Mommy, what about King? Mommy, what? I was like, King! I shouted at him, I yelled, and he froze, and he began to cry, and I was so sad. I'm like, I'm sorry. So I lose it at times, and that doesn't make you a bad mom. We are just trying to do this parenting thing because kids can try your patience, you guys, you know. So I apologized and said, I'm sorry for yelling, I'm sorry for shouting, and that's life. So I'm not perfect, but I capture those moments when I've fallen short, and then I try to work on them. I read a lot of books on parenting. I read a lot about being a wife. You guys, you know, remember the serious question that I answered? I'm too serious. When it comes to these things, I'm very serious. When I've come from a marriage retreat, I have my notes, you know, I'm taking notes, and I'm like, we're going to try this. If it's a new sex position, I'm like, we have to try this. If they say, try to be an empathetic listener, or speak less because I'm talkative, I try to implement. So it's a lot of work in progress. I'm not perfect, but I'm doing my best. And also prayer. You know, I keep telling God, help me be a better wife. And I also keep asking my husband, you know, because he's quiet, you can never know when something is wrong. So I have to nudge him and tell him, babe, how can I be a better wife this month? How can I be a better wife? What have I done well? What am I lacking? You know, so that you can improve. Because if you don't know, you can't improve. So keep asking those questions. So yeah, that assumption, I'm not perfect, but I'm on the journey, and we all are. So yeah, keep doing you, keep trying, keep working on those things that will make marriage and motherhood so much better. And then one of the final ones, like you guys, there are so many, but someone says, you are the tough parent between you and Steve. Do I need to explain? Do I need to even debunk this assumption? Because it's so true. You guys, one of the things we disagree about so much is parenting style. My husband, the kids can be frustrating him. They are not listening. And it's like, King, Rain, don't do this. I'm like, they're disobeying. First give like 2 hot ones. And he's like, Rain, come. I'm going to give you. And then he does like this. And I'm like, what? What are you doing? Give seriously. They need to feel pain. Like they need to relate disobedience with pain. And that's how they get it, you know, at that age. And I can be so frustrated, but I'm like, you know what? Let him do him. He will realize that he needs to, So yeah, I'm the tougher parent, the stricter one. I like to follow rules and things like that. So yeah, but it actually helps us balance life. Like my husband, because he's calm and I'm too much, sometimes he lowers me down a bit. It's like, calm down, you know. And even in all this seriousness, sometimes I over criticize myself because I want to live up to a certain expectation that is so high. And he's like, babe, you are your biggest critic. Can you just, you know, calm down. And he really does help me in this marriage thing, in this parenting thing. So hey, yeah, I'm strict, but he's trying to, you know, to put me down a bit. So yeah, those have been some of my assumptions that I've answered. Follow me on Instagram. You never know, your poll may be listed in one of my videos. I am Lisa Kasima, and I'm here to tell you that marriage works and you can do it.